All right, today we are cracking open a powerful blueprint for financial success. And believe it or not, it's hidden inside a 2,000-year-old story you probably think you already know. We're about to decode the parable of the talents for the modern investor. So let me just start by asking you this. What if the real secret to building wealth wasn't buried in some complicated finance book, but was actually laid out in a simple story told 2 millennia ago? That's what we're going to explore. How this ancient story speaks directly to our modern world of stocks, bonds, and everything in between.
And to really get this, you gotta shift your thinking a bit. Forget buy low, sell high for just a second. This isn't about trying to time the market or some get-rich-quick scheme. It's about a deep, fundamental strategy for managing what you have that's honestly more relevant today than it has ever been.
Okay, so let's dive right in. Before we can pull out the financial lessons, we need to do a quick refresher on the story itself, just so we're all on the same page.
The plot is actually pretty straightforward, but it's powerful. You have this wealthy master who, before he goes on a long trip, gives 3 of his servants different amounts of money, called talents. 2 of them get right to work, they invested, and they double their money. But the third guy, he's so terrified of losing it that he just digs a hole and buries the cash. Well, when the master gets back, he praises the first 2 for their growth, and he comes down hard on the third guy for doing absolutely nothing.
So, and this is the key takeaway, right? We're not looking at this as just some old moral story. We're viewing it as a practical, timeless playbook for financial management. The principles in here are incredibly direct and, frankly, super powerful.
And that brings us to the first big principle. You have a mandate to invest. It all comes down to that fundamental choice every single one of us faces. Do you take smart, calculated action, or do you let the fear of loss keep you on the sidelines?
You can really see 2 completely different mindsets at play here. The successful servants, they had a growth mindset. They were focused on what they could gain. The third guy, though, he was stuck in a fear mindset. This contrast shows us something huge. Doing nothing, driven purely by fear, might just be the riskiest financial move of all.
You see, what those first 2 servants did, that's the definition of calculated risk. This isn't about reckless gambling. It's about making an educated decision where the potential reward is worth the potential loss. The parable is basically arguing that the biggest risk isn't a down market. It's the guaranteed 0% return you get from doing nothing at all.
All right, let's move on to the second key insight. And this one's a little more subtle, but it is brilliant. The story has this unspoken wisdom about diversification baked right into it.
I mean, think about it. The very first thing the master does is a lesson in risk management. He didn't bet everything on his star player. No, he spread his capital across 3 different people. He understood instinctively the danger of putting all his eggs in one basket. It's like an ancient warning against putting all your money in one place.
And this lines up perfectly with a core pillar of modern investing. Today, spreading your talents means diversifying across different kinds of assets. You know, things like index funds, real estate, a good mix of stocks and bonds, maybe even some alternative assets. The goal is exactly the same. Protect your overall wealth so that if one thing fails, it doesn't take everything else down with it.
Okay, the third lesson here is maybe the most powerful force in all of finance, compounding. And you can find it in the master's clear expectation that his money should have earned interest while he was gone. Compounding is the absolute secret sauce to building wealth. It's that magic that happens when your returns start earning their own returns, creating this incredible snowball effect. This isn't just steady, straight-line growth, it's exponential. That's the long-term vision the master had, and it's a principle that can totally transform your own financial future.
So, when the master is telling off the servant who buried the money, he says he should have at least put the cash in the bank to collect interest. And that, right there, is a perfect parallel to the engine of modern wealth, reinvesting your profits and your dividends to fuel that amazing long-term growth.
And that brings us to our fourth and honestly most important message from the whole story. This isn't just about a stock portfolio. It's about how you manage your entire life.
The ultimate lesson here is that managing your money is just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. The word talent in the original story meant a huge sum of money, but it's no accident that today it means a natural skill or a gift. The principle applies to every single resource we have.
So, what are your talents? Yeah, of course, there's your financial capital, but what about your time and your energy, your unique skills and your knowledge? What about the relationships and the networks you built, or the influence and the platform you have? The parable forces us to ask, are we investing all of these things for growth, or are we just burying them out of fear?
And that really leaves us with one final, very personal question. The principles are timeless. Take calculated risks, diversify your efforts, and use the power of compounding. So, as you look ahead, the challenge isn't just about your money. It's about everything you've been given. How will you invest all of your talents for growth and for purpose?